My son called me senile in front of my entire family. He stood up, halfway through Eid dinner, and said it like he'd been rehearsing for weeks. And the worst part, it wasn't the word. It was how calm he sounded when he said it. Before I continue, I'm curious. Where are you watching this from? I didn't stop him. I didn't argue. I didn't even look surprised. Because by the time Carter decided to say it out loud, I had already seen it coming. There's a certain tone people use when they think they're being reasonable, measured, careful, almost kind. That's the tone Carter used that night. We need to talk about Dad, he said. Not to me, about me. Like I wasn't sitting right there at the head of the table. The room didn't go silent all at once. It faded into it. Conversation slowed, forks stopped, chairs shifted. You could feel people waiting, without knowing what they were waiting for. I've noticed a few things over the past months, he continued. Still calm. Still controlled. I think we need to start having an honest conversation about his ability to manage things. His ability. Not mine. I glanced at Soraya. She had gone completely still, one hand resting on the serving spoon like she had forgotten what she was doing. Leonard, across from me, didn't move either, just watched. Carter kept going. That's the thing about people who prepare these moments. They don't stop halfway. He mentioned a missed payment from months ago, a story I apparently repeated twice, a moment where I seemed confused, each example small on its own. But when you line them up in front of an audience, they start to sound like evidence. Then he said it, softly, clearly, like it had been waiting at the back of his throat the entire time. Senile. No one reacted. Not immediately, because everyone was trying to decide if they had heard him correctly. I didn't move, didn't interrupt, didn't defend myself, because this wasn't the first move. It was just the first one he made publicly. 6 weeks earlier, he had come over on a Sunday, said he wanted to check something in the house. We ended up in the utility room. Out of nowhere, he asked about my investment accounts. Have you ever thought about consolidating them? He said. Casual, too casual. I asked him why. He smiled, small, controlled, just for simplicity. I didn't answer right away. I just looked at him, and in that moment, something felt off. The next week, he called again, asked about the trust documents, said he wanted to understand the structure. That's when it stopped feeling like curiosity and started feeling like groundwork. 2 days later, Soraya told me something else. Priya had mentioned that Carter was worried about me, concerned. Not to me, about me. That's when I knew. I spent 31 years in credit risk. You don't survive that long without learning one thing. Patterns matter. And this one was obvious. So I didn't confront him. I didn't argue. I didn't ask questions. I made one phone call. Miriam answered immediately. She always does. I explained everything. The questions, the timing, the way it was being framed. She didn't sound surprised, which told me more than anything else. If he's building a case, she said, then we don't wait for it to finish. Everything after that was quiet, efficient. Accounts were reviewed, documents were updated, authority reassigned where necessary, not emotionally, professionally. Then she suggested something I hadn't considered, a full cognitive assessment. I almost dismissed it, because I knew there was nothing wrong. But Miriam didn't care what I knew. She cared what could be proven, so I did it. 2 sessions. 4 hours total. Memory, logic, recall. Everything measured. Everything documented. At the end, the doctor looked at me and smiled. You're doing better than most people your age, she said. I didn't feel proud. I felt ready. 3 days before Eid, Miriam handed me a folder. Thin, simple, final. Bring it with you, she said. I asked her why. She looked at me for a second, then said, because he's not going to do this privately. Back at the table, Carter was still speaking, still explaining, still building something he clearly believed in. We need to think long term, he said, for everyone involved. That word again, everyone. That's when I reached into my jacket. Not quickly, not dramatically, just deliberately. I took out the folder, placed it on the table, slid it across to him. Read it, I said. That was the first time he looked at me. Really looked. He hesitated. Just for a second, then opened it. The shift was immediate, not loud, not obvious, but real. He read the first page, then the second, then the letter, and something behind his expression changed. "What is that?" my sister asked. I answered without raising my voice. "A cognitive assessment," I said. "From 3 days ago." I let that sit for a moment. "And everything else," I added, "has already been taken care of." That part mattered, because this wasn't about defending myself. It was about making sure there was nothing left to take from me. Carter didn't speak. He read the letter again, more slowly this time. His face didn't fall apart. It just stopped moving. "Dad," he started, then stopped. For the first time that night, he had nothing prepared. "I'm not discussing this here," I said. Not angry, not loud, just final. And that was enough. The room didn't return to normal, but it shifted just enough for people to breathe again. Leonard reached for the rice. "Soraya, this is excellent," he said. And somehow that small sentence broke the tension more than anything else could have. Carter sat down, didn't say another word. They left before dessert. At the door, he thanked his mother. Like everything was fine. It wasn't. He called me 11 days later. Short call. Careful tone. "I didn't mean for it to go that way," he said. I believed that, not because it was true, but because it was easier for him to believe it. "Are we okay?" he asked. "That question takes time." "We'll get there," I said. "And we will. Eventually. Because mistakes can be fixed. But strategies? Strategies take longer to forget. 3 months later, everything is in order. The accounts are secure. The documents are finalized. The house is still mine. Even my tomatoes are still terrible. Life hasn't changed in the ways people expect. But something small did change. Now when Carter looks at me, he doesn't look away. And that tells me everything I need to know. Because the truth is, I was paying attention the entire time.